welcome. I'm Master Lama Risaji, and this is our Tuesday edition of Risaji Speaks. I hope all the Americans had a nice holiday Labor Day weekend. Don't forget that it's not too late to sign up for Master David's live Tai Chi Gun class, evening class, which is 7 o'clock Mountain Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Let him know that you dropped in. Let's look at the subject matter today. Soulful Harvest, nurturing spirituality through fresh garden foods. I was on recently with a teacher that's been challenged about keeping on weight. I want to tell you, psychologically and emotionally, when you see a person constantly dropping weight for whatever reason, you better believe that death urge is involved. And of course, the opposite is true. When a person is gaining weight, in their energy body is the pulse of birth trauma, the resistance to move forward, right? So understand that when we're metabolizing in a right area, and remember, first we metabolize in the field. And being out in nature like this at one of our retreat centers, our ranch, or in the Lamas area, you're going to feel this big, big time. This looks a lot like the property that we walked about a week or so ago. Some of the foliage in the Tennessee mountains was very much like this, definitely in the rainforest in Costa Rica for one of the retreat centers that we will be opening up. I explained something to this person, did a thorough investigation of what the individual is doing. One of the first things that I told her to do was for the next 14 to 15 days, every time you stick something here, whether it's drink or whether you're eating, write it down. Sometimes people are shocked. I asked her what she was taking. She was taking a lot of the supplements that we recommend here. But the issue is they're supplements. See, in order for a diet to be a decent diet, it has to have a cleansing element, a building element, and a sustaining element. It's not complete diet if you do that. We saw that with the early startup of the macrobiotic diet by George Asawa. What a lot of people don't know, and they can Google, is George Asawa died in his 60s of liver cancer. Right. Just like the guy that created running. Running can be healthy, but he had a massive heart attack in his mid-50s. Was he overrunning? Just like the ungrounded teachings and scientific endeavor of Ernest Earhart, who wrote an incredible book called Muculus Diet, and the second book was Rational Fasting. He had fasted thousands of people in Europe. They were having positive impact even on schizophrenia, if you can imagine. But this guy walks out of his house one day in his mid to late 50s, feet slip out from under him, and his head falls on the back of a stairwell, kills him instantly. In all three cases, their impact was a positive impact, but in all three cases, they went too far. Obsessive compulsive to get the word out, and it was pushed out by death urge. And death urge was all over this individual's aura. So this is what I told her. I said, supplements are great for part of the cleansing element of a diet. In other words, whether it's weight gain or toxicity or whatever, if you're cleansing for a period of time. But even too much cleansing is not a good thing. right? Because in the early days of the development of the macrobiotic diet, let me say today, the macrobiotic diet is totally different than it was back in the 70s and the 80s. Today, it's more stable. They've gotten in there and they've brought the three elements in there. And I know people who live by it and they look totally healthy. But in the 70s and 80s, a lot of them looked like they came from Auschwitz, a concentration camp. Their skin color was not good, lack of circulation. They suppressed eating any kind of any kind of sugar, complex carbohydrates. There wasn't enough amino acids and protein in their body. So I told her, I said, when you do your 14 days, you need to start adding back into your body the way that you were eating somewhere between 4 to 8 years ago. And you're going to find a happy medium because now you're taking these incredible supplements that you were not taking 4 to 8 years ago. Plus, you're doing Tai Chi Gum. You hear a lot of nutritionist people, especially when they're praising their nutritional products. Oh, this is whole food. This comes from whole food. It's organic. Everything is perfectly natural. Well, let me tell you and lay a deal on your mindset what is not perfectly natural. Perfectly natural is not to get all your nutrition in liquid form, right? There's a reason that we have teeth, and it's not for drinking. It is for masticating your food enough that you begin to learn to drink your food. See, digestion starts in the field, changing the molecular structure of any food and drink you take. The next is what you do in your mouth through the teeth breaking the food down and the saliva, and then you begin to take it down into your GI tract. But the human DNA that people sometimes do not take for a factor is used to getting a lot of its whole food in its whole food form. I say again, the human being through hundreds, thousands of years is used to getting a lot of its whole food still contained in its whole food form. Quote unquote, the magical garden of nature. In other words, in order to get the best forms of vitamin C that you would get from a Florida orange, it's a good idea to eat some Florida oranges. To get the sugar and potassium from bananas, it's a good idea to eat some bananas, right? The same with your vegetable salads, the same with your fruit salads. And whatever your source of protein is, whether it's animal or, vegan, it's still important for you to eat lean meat if you're absorbing protein that way, or you're taking in tofu, or you're taking in beans and rice. You should be eating some beans and rice. Then, when you take great supplements like Anai Hercules, some of the Univera product, some of Sister Ambaya's products, let me tell you what these supplements are also supposed to do. They're supposed to enhance your digestion and your assimilation of the whole foods that you're eating in their whole form. Thinking that I'm going to take the nutritional products and they're going to build and sustain my body weight along with the nutritional value is crazy, because everyone knows the higher you get on a nutritional level, the less calorie content something is. And see, there is a balance, and this is about balance. There's a balance to the nutrition you take in as supplements and that you're getting ready to eat. And let me give you a rocket science Southern way of understanding the practicality of all this. If I'm doing the exercises of Tai Qigong, I'm already accelerating metabolism because I'm clearing my field. If I'm taking incredible supplements, like we mentioned, and a lot of times we talk about on Thursday's PFL, we only take and use the best. But don't take something in the content and think that it's going to do something it was not meant to do. You understand the common sense. So you want to learn to get back to the land. What we know, if you practice Tai Qigong long enough, it makes you want to get out here. This is one of the most basic reasons we're creating retreat centers, ranches, and lamaseries, right? This is one of the basic. And you're taking that knowledge home, whether it's your apartment, your condo, on your balcony, or you're buying a couple acres of land, and you're replicating that, and you're learning again to get back in touch with the land. Practicing of Tai Qigong, since it came from the land, it came from nature and the Divine Mother that created this to start with, the more you get to the land, the more you will get the sense, well, I need to eat things before they get to the supermarket. You don't go to the supermarket to milk a cow, do you? I don't think so. You need to learn to eat some oranges, some apples, some plums, some kiwi straight from the land. I walked some Tennessee mountains and there were plums and there were apples and there were kiwis and pomegranates growing on the property. Wow, what a great salad that would make. But then I would be eating the food divinely in a wholesome element. If you check back to the mystical group of the Essenes, this is one of the most basic things that the Essenes and the city yoga masters were teaching the people. We can get obsessive or compulsive just about anything if we allow ourselves to do that, because that's the programming of the world today. Take everything and just become obsessed about it. The last I looked, there's not one chapter in the Circle of Chi. I think there's 9, right? And we talk about the 3 levels of nutrition. But today, let's make it clear that when we get to the DNA nutrition, let's split it into 2 categories today. One category is to get wholesome whole food and eat it in its whole form. And then the other part is to supplement in case you're not getting enough nutriments, your excess. And it's going to help you digest, assimilate, and carry the food and the waste to where it needs to go to help you eliminate better, to help you absorb the whole food that you're eating better. And the bottom line is you get more vitality by doing that. It's really, really simple, right? We all know what a healthy weight is. Don't eat to be obsessive either about weight. It's a funny thing. If you eat to be wholesome and spiritual, and it's a form of communion, do this in remembrance of me, Jesus said. It's a funny thing, but your weight usually turns out to be within 5 or 10% of what you probably would be anyhow. And if we're losing weight or gaining weight to look attractive, it's amazing. When we're healthy, we always look attractive. It's funny how that works, isn't it? I hope this lesson you found value in it today. And if you do, hit us up in the comments. Maybe you have a little bit better understanding of how we should eat and live. Baraka Bashai, may the blessings be to you and your glorious family. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on Hump Day for Rasaji Speaks. God bless us all.